What's going on, guys? Austin Zaback here with another YouTube video. I'm sitting in my Tesla Model 3 that I've owned for about a year now, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down some things that I can guarantee you don't know about Tesla. Because it happens to me all the time. I'll get in my Tesla and there's something brand new that I didn't even know the car did. And on top of that, there's times where I'll use things in my Tesla where I'm like, I don't even understand the technology behind it. And obviously I've owned a lot of gasoline cars in my life, so when I drive an electric vehicle such as a Tesla, there are certain things where I'm like, I don't even understand how it works the way it does, being that it is an electric vehicle. So let's just go ahead and dive right into the video with the very first question that I've had for a long time about how in the world it actually works the way that it does. But if you wouldn't mind just taking a quick second and just smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. So as you probably know, all cars made back all the way to the 1950s have an air conditioner and they have a heater. So typically the air conditioner in a car works because the radiator in the front of the car has coolant that is pumped through the compressor, which then of course pumps the cold air through the vents. Now it is a little bit complicated, but it has been a reliable way to have air conditioning in cars for a very long time. Now the Tesla pretty much has the exact same thing when it comes to the air conditioner, except it runs off of volts. And I didn't put a whole lot of thought into my air conditioner, but when it got a little colder and I started running my heater, I was like, wait a minute, how does the heater actually work? Most cars take heat from the engine to go ahead and pump that warm air through the vents. But as you know, obviously a Tesla does not have a motor. So I did a little bit of research, and Tesla actually has what they call an electric resistance heating system. And in simple terms, it essentially works by sending electricity through a resistive heating element that helps warm up the cabin. And it works very similar to how like a heated seat would work, or like a small space heater. So on paper, this is basically 100% efficient because it's converting all of the energy consumed to heat. However, in an electric vehicle, what I have noticed is that you do get a little bit less of a range when you're using the heater. Moving on to the second thing that I never really understood how it worked as it pertained particularly to Tesla was the Autopilot feature compared to other self-driving cars. So I'll be driving around town and I'll see a Waymo van. It has a bunch of cameras on it. I guarantee you've seen one before. And I don't understand like what they're doing. Essentially, they're just collecting data. But why is it that those vans have to have all those cameras on them and Teslas look like really, really good? Because it doesn't seem like the Waymo vans have their autonomous driving any more dialed in than Tesla. I was always curious why Tesla had a much better version of Autopilot than all of its competitors. So Tesla and Waymo and a lot of the other self-driving cars have much different technology. Tesla uses what they call computer vision, and a lot of the other autonomous driving cars use LiDAR sensors. So LiDAR basically works like this. It shoots out a bunch of lasers very quickly, and depending on how long it takes the laser to return, will measure the overall distance. It's actually very similar to radar, but instead of radio waves, it uses lasers. And the technology is extremely accurate when measuring objects all the way down to the millimeter. But Elon has had a few things to say about the people that use the LiDAR sensors. Elon has come out and said that LiDAR is essentially doomed because it can't tell the difference between a plastic bag and a speed bump. So if you're driving down a highway super fast, you could probably see why that would be a bit problematic. Computer vision is essentially a field of artificial intelligence that trains computers to see it like the real world. In a nutshell, it's just basically reverse engineering human vision. So then which one ultimately ends up being better? So from a cost perspective, LiDAR sensors being added to a single car run about $10,000. And Tesla really wanted to avoid that steep price because they really wanted to make their cars affordable. So per Elon, like I said a minute ago, LiDAR seems to be a bit outdated. But what about like practical use? So perhaps maybe the most appealing thing about computer vision is that it can actually adapt over time. The neural network is basically able to take the data and make rational decisions in real time. Because it is willing to adapt, it's only going to get better as time goes on, and on top of that, you have Elon also improving it simultaneously. Something that I've noticed that is unique to the Tesla is that there are little cameras literally all the way around the entire car. So obviously we have two on each side of the car towards the hood. We have two more in the middle of the car, kind of built in, and they're a little bit more camouflaged. And then as you walk around the back of the car, you have another camera down here below the license plate. And then of course, as we walk around to the front of the car, you have a camera actually built into the windshield that sees straight in front of you. So at first, of course, I thought they were just all used for autopilot. But then I got to thinking and I was like, maybe you can use the cameras for something else. So I looked into the extent of what the cameras can be used for. And of course, they're used for autopilot along with the sensors, but the cameras can also be used for security purposes. So So there's a thing called Sentry mode where you can literally put it in that mode when you get out of the car and you leave to go into a restaurant or wherever you're going, and the car will actually record with all of the cameras throughout the entire car. And if anything happens, if anybody walks by the car while you're out and about, it'll actually alert you and it'll go ahead and start filming all of that data so that you can go back and rewatch it. It's honestly super cool knowing that if I'm gonna go in somewhere for a little while, maybe it's like a really tight space or whatever, even if I don't think somebody's gonna break into my car, you know, maybe somebody ends up door dinging my car or they do like a hit and run, they try to get away, you know, ultimately I'll have those people on camera. And obviously people look at a Tesla and they think that they're like expensive or whatever, but at the end of the day, Tesla's really trying to make cars that are affordable. So hopefully one day we'll see these features on pretty much every car. In a lot of other countries around the world, people mount their own dash cameras on the dash. So if anything happens, they kind of have proof of how it actually went down. They can give it to their insurance company or however they want to do it. So I do think that in the near future, this is something that every major car company is probably going to have to build into the technology of the car. So I actually just figured out too that you can put this car in Santa mode. Now, I only have the Tesla Model 3, but if I had the Model X or the Model S, it'll actually like dance, it'll put on like a whole show for you. I'll show you right here. But anyways, I was able to do it and it'll actually let me just like, basically the car turns into like a sled and then it's like snowing when I drive down the road. It's pretty cool because I live in Arizona. So all you gotta do is you gotta go to your voice control and you just basically have to ho at your Tesla. No, I'm just messing around. You gotta say ho, ho, ho at your Tesla. I'll show you how to do it right now. So as you can see, it's already a sled right there. So I'm gonna say ho, 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 and we gonna rock and roll. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, I turned it off. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, it goes back to a car right when you freaking do it. Right when you put it in drive. Anyways, I just thought I'd share that with you at the end of the video. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video.